The mysterious signal. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and dangers. For the Zorth Empire, one of the most powerful civilizations, there was little left to fear or discover. Their technology was unmatched, their fleets unstoppable. But on this day, something unexpected happened. A strange signal was detected from a small blue planet on the edge of the Milky Way galaxy. The planet was called Earth. High Commander Vrelix stood in the control room of the Zorth mothership, staring at the holographic display. The signal wasn't like anything they had encountered before. It was powerful yet chaotic, pulsing with patterns that seemed random but hinted at intelligence. "Where is it coming from?" Vrelix asked, his voice sharp and commanding. "From Earth, Commander," replied a young scientist, her eyes fixed on the data streaming across the screen. "The planet is classified as primitive. Their technology shouldn't be capable of this." Vrelix frowned. Primitive planets didn't produce signals that disrupted advanced systems. Yet here they were. Communications were scrambled, navigation systems glitched, and even their energy shields flickered momentarily. "Send a probe," he ordered. "We need to know more." Within minutes, a sleek, metallic probe shot out from the mothership, heading straight for Earth. The Zorth fleet watched as the probe approached the planet's atmosphere. At first, everything seemed normal. The probe's sensors picked up standard readings: oceans, landmasses, signs of life. But as it got closer, the readings became erratic. "Something's wrong," said the scientist, her voice tense. "The probe is losing connection." Before anyone could react, the screen went black. The probe was gone. No explosion, no debris, just gone. In the depths of the control room, silence fell. The Zorth crew, trained to face the most dangerous situations, felt an unfamiliar chill. Vrelix broke the silence. "Send another probe," he demanded. The second probe was launched, this time with additional cloaking and defense mechanisms. But the result was the same. As soon as it neared Earth, it disappeared without a trace. "This is impossible," muttered the scientist. "There's no known technology that can do this, not on a planet like Earth." Back on Earth, things seemed normal to its inhabitants. Humans went about their daily lives, unaware of the drama unfolding in space. But to the Zorth Empire, Earth was now a mystery, a dangerous one. Vrelix called a meeting with his top advisors. "We cannot ignore this. A primitive planet with such capabilities could be a threat to the Empire." One of the advisors, an older alien with deep scars across his face, spoke cautiously. "Commander, perhaps it is not their technology. There are legends of ancient powers protecting certain worlds. What if Earth is one of them?" Vrelix dismissed the idea. "Legends don't destroy probes. Something is happening here, and we will find out what." As the Zorth mothership prepared to deploy a scout ship, the mysterious signal pulsed again. This time, it was stronger, more intense. The energy waves reached the mothership, causing its systems to flicker and dim. A strange message appeared on their screens, written in an unknown language. "What does it say?" Vrelix demanded. The linguists worked quickly, decoding bits and pieces of the message. "It seems to be a warning," one of them said hesitantly. "It says, 'Do not come closer. Earth is protected.'" Vrelix's eyes narrowed. Protected by what? The scout ship was launched anyway, its cloaking devices active and shields raised. It approached Earth cautiously, scanning every inch of the planet. But as it entered orbit, the same fate awaited it. Just like the probes, it vanished. This time, however, a single transmission was sent back before the ship disappeared. The voice of the pilot came through, trembling with fear. "Commander, Earth is watching." The transmission cut off, leaving the crew of the mothership stunned. Fear crept into the hearts of even the bravest Zorth soldiers. What kind of planet was this, and what was hiding behind its innocent appearance? Vrelix clenched his fists, determined not to let fear dictate his actions. "Prepare the fleet," he ordered. "If Earth is hiding something, we will uncover it." As the Zoref ships moved into position, the mysterious signal pulsed one final time. This time, it felt different. It wasn't just a warning. It was a challenge. And for the first time in centuries, the Zoreth Empire hesitated. This was no ordinary mission. Earth was no ordinary planet. And as the fleet stared at the blue and green sphere in the distance, one question loomed larger than any other. What made Earth untouchable? The answer would change everything. The unseen defense. The Zoreth Empire prided itself on knowing everything about the galaxy. Every star system, every species, every threat. But Earth was proving to be a puzzle they couldn't solve. High Commander Vrelix, known for his sharp strategy and unshakable resolve, felt his confidence slipping. The control room of the Zoreth mothership was tense. The disappearance of the probes and the scout ship had shaken the crew. Yet, Vrelix refused to retreat. The mysterious warning, "Earth is watching," echoed in his mind like a challenge. "We will not let a primitive planet intimidate us," Vrelix declared. "Deploy the Spectre." The Spectre was one of the Zoreth Empire's most advanced ships, equipped with cloaking technology so perfect it could pass through enemy fleets unnoticed. It was their pride and joy, a ghost in the void. If Earth had a defense system, the Spectre would find it. The ship launched silently, disappearing from view as it activated its cloaking device. Inside the control room, the crew monitored its progress with a mix of hope and fear. As the Spectre approached Earth, its sensors picked up strange energy readings. They didn't match any known technology, yet they pulsed with an almost rhythmic precision. "This is no ordinary defense," muttered Reinar, the chief scientist. "It's like the planet itself is alive." Vrelix dismissed the comment. "Focus on the mission." As the Spectre descended into Earth's atmosphere, its crew began to notice oddities. Clouds swirled unnaturally, almost as if they were reacting to the ship's presence. Instruments flickered, showing data that made no sense. Gravity seemed to shift and bend around them. Then, without warning, the Spectre's engine shut down. "Emergency systems online," shouted the captain, but nothing worked. The ship was frozen in midair, suspended by an invisible force. The crew tried to send a distress signal, but their communication systems emitted only static. And then they heard it. A voice, not through speakers or comms, but inside their minds. It was calm, almost gentle, but carried a weight that crushed their spirits. "You were warned," the voice said. "Earth is not yours to touch." Back on the mothership, the crew watched in horror as the Spectre vanished from their monitors. No explosion, no debris, just gone, as if it had never existed. The room erupted into chaos. Scientists argued over theories, some claiming it was a new weapon, others suggesting supernatural forces. Vrelix slammed his fist on the console, silencing them. "This is not magic," he growled. "There is a logical explanation, and we will find it." But deep down, even Vrelix wasn't so sure anymore. Meanwhile, in a hidden corner of the Zoreth mothership, Reinar studied the energy readings from Earth. They were unlike anything he had ever seen. The patterns weren't random. They were structured, almost like language. It was as if the planet was trying to communicate. "Commander," Reinar said, entering the command room. "Earth's energy isn't just a defense mechanism. It's intelligent." Vrelix stared at him, his expression unreadable. "Explain." Reinar hesitated. "I believe the planet is protected by something far more advanced than technology. It's almost as if it's alive." The room fell silent. The idea was absurd, yet it explained everything. The disappearing ships, the strange warnings, the energy patterns. "Are you suggesting the planet itself is defending against us?" Vrelix asked, his tone skeptical but laced with unease. "Yes," Reinar replied. "And if I'm right, it means Earth is far more dangerous than we thought." Despite the growing unease among the crew, Vrelix refused to back down. He ordered a larger fleet to move closer to Earth's orbit, determined to find a weakness. The ships formed a tight formation, their shields and weapons at maximum power. As they approached, the mysterious energy readings intensified. Strange phenomena began affecting the fleet. Shields flickered, navigation systems spun wildly, and some crew members reported hearing whispers in languages they didn't understand. Then the fleet's flagship, the Titan, picked up a transmission. Unlike before, this wasn't a warning. It was a single cryptic message. "You are not the first." The crew was baffled. "Not the first." Vrelix repeated, his mind racing. "What does that mean?" Reinar's face grew pale. "It means others have tried to conquer Earth before us, and they failed." The room grew colder as the weight of the revelation sank in. What kind of power could repel civilizations even more advanced than the Zoreth Empire? And why was Earth, a seemingly insignificant planet, worth protecting so fiercely? Vrelix turned to his crew. "We're not leaving. If Earth is hiding something, we will uncover it." But as the fleet prepared for its next move, something extraordinary happened. Earth's satellites, which had seemed inactive, suddenly shifted their positions. They weren't random movements. They were aligning, forming a precise pattern. "What are they doing?" someone whispered. "They're watching us," Reinar replied, his voice barely audible. And in that moment, every Zoreth officer, no matter how brave, felt the same chilling realization. Earth wasn't just a planet. It was a guardian, an enigma, and perhaps something far beyond their understanding. The fleet hovered, unsure whether to advance or retreat, and from the depths of space, Earth seemed to whisper one final warning. Turn back, or be forgotten. The hidden power. The Zoreth fleet lingered at the edge of Earth's orbit, their once unshakable confidence replaced by a gnawing uncertainty. High Commander Vrelix stared out the viewport of the Titan, the fleet's flagship, as the blue-green planet loomed below. It seemed so unremarkable, yet it had dismantled their efforts without a single visible weapon. "How can this be?" Vrelix muttered, gripping the edge of the console. "A planet like this shouldn't be capable of resisting us." In the control room, Reinar worked furiously. He had been analyzing the energy signals emanating from Earth, desperate to make sense of them. The patterns were far too complex for any known technology, and the more he studied, the more they seemed alive. "Commander," Reinar said, breaking the silence, "I found something." Vrelix turned sharply. "Speak." The energy signatures. At first, they seemed like a defense system, but they're more than that. They're adaptive. Every time we try something new, they change, almost like they're responding to us. "You're saying the planet is fighting back?" Vrelix asked, his voice laced with disbelief. Reinar nodded. "Not just the planet. It's as if the entire system is working together. Earth, its satellites, even the moon. There's a network here, and it's ancient." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. The idea of a planet defending itself was already hard to grasp, but the thought of an ancient, interconnected network of intelligence was far beyond anything they had encountered. Vrelix straightened. "If it's a network, it can be disrupted. Prepare an EMP strike. We'll disable their systems and take control." The crew hesitated, but they obeyed. The EMP weapon, capable of disabling entire planets, was armed and aimed at Earth. As it charged, the ship trembled slightly, as though the planet below was watching and waiting. "Fire," Vrelix ordered. The weapon discharged, sending a massive electromagnetic pulse toward Earth. The crew watched as the wave raced toward the planet, confident it would cripple whatever defenses Earth had. But as the wave reached Earth's atmosphere, it dissolved. The energy scattered harmlessly, as if absorbed by an invisible barrier. "What just happened?" Vrelix demanded. Reinar's hands flew across the console. The energy was neutralized. It didn't even reach the surface. "Impossible," Vrelix growled. "Try again." Before the order could be carried out, the ship's alarms blared. The holographic display lit up with warnings. Earth's satellites had come to life, moving in perfect synchronization. They weren't attacking. They were forming patterns, sending beams of light across space. "What are they doing now?" Vrelix shouted. Reinar's voice was filled with awe and fear. "They're communicating, but not with us." The light beams converged in the shadow of the moon, forming a massive structure that flickered into existence. It was a ship, larger than anything the Zorath Empire had ever seen. Its surface was smooth and reflective, shimmering like liquid metal. Ancient symbols glowed along its hull, symbols that matched ones in the Zorath Empire's oldest archives. "That's not human," one officer whispered. "No," Reinar said grimly. "It's far older." The alien ship emitted a deep, resonant hum that reverberated through the Zorath fleet. The hum wasn't just sound, it carried meaning, like a voice speaking directly into their minds. "You were warned," the message said. "This planet is not yours." The crew was paralyzed with fear. Even Vrelix, known for his unflinching courage, felt his resolve falter. He clenched his fists, refusing to back down. "Identify that ship," he barked. Reinar's voice trembled as he replied. "It matches the descriptions of the Guardians, an ancient race said to protect certain worlds. But they were believed to be extinct. Extinct or not, we will not retreat." Vrelix snapped. "Prepare the fleet for engagement." But as the Zorath ships moved into formation, the Guardian ship responded. Without firing a single weapon, it emitted a pulse of energy that passed through the fleet. The Zorath ships were unharmed, but their systems went haywire. Shields failed, engines sputtered, and weapons powered down. "They've disabled us," an officer said, panic rising in his voice. "We're defenseless." Vrelix gritted his teeth. "Reinar, is there anything we can do?" Reinar hesitated. "Commander, I think we've already lost. This isn't just about technology. That ship, this planet, there's something far beyond us." As the Guardian ship hovered silently, another message echoed through the fleet. "Leave now," it said, "or face annihilation." Vrelix's pride waged war with his survival instinct. He had never retreated, never shown weakness. But now, faced with an enemy that defied comprehension, he was out of options. "Commander," Reinar said softly, "sometimes survival is the only victory." Vrelix closed his eyes, the weight of the decision pressing down on him. Finally, he gave the order. "Withdraw the fleet." As the Zorath ships began to retreat, the Guardian ship remained motionless, watching. Earth's satellites returned to their original positions, their warning clear. The Zorath Empire had been humbled. But as they left Earth's orbit, a final transmission came through, spoken in the same ancient, resonant voice. "This is your only warning. Earth is not alone." The Zorath fleet disappeared into the void, leaving the mysterious planet behind. But questions lingered. What was Earth truly hiding? And what would happen if someone else tried to challenge it? For now, the Zorath Empire had no answers, only fear. The human message. The Zorath fleet returned to their empire's heartworlds in silence, but the mystery of Earth haunted them. High Commander Vrelix's reputation was tarnished, his decision to retreat seen as cowardice by some and wisdom by others. Yet even in defeat, he couldn't let the enigma of Earth go unanswered. Months passed, and whispers of Earth's untouchable status spread across the galactic empires. Rivals of the Zorath watched with interest, while allies questioned their strength. Vrelix knew the Empire's dominance relied on uncovering Earth's secrets or destroying its mystique entirely. In the archives of Zorath's Central Research Facility, Chief Scientist Reinar delved into forgotten texts and databanks. The symbols on the Guardian ship matched records over 10,000 cycles old, predating even the Zorath Empire itself. These records spoke of a race called the Wardens, an ancient civilization said to protect chosen worlds with unimaginable power. These Wardens, Reinar said during a briefing with Vrelix, didn't just defend worlds. They uplifted them. They saw potential where others saw weakness, If Earth was chosen by the Wardens, it means humanity isn't as primitive as we thought. Vrelix leaned back, frowning. You're suggesting Earth is a project, a testing ground. Reinar nodded. And if that's true, the Wardens may have left behind more than just a defense network. They may have left humanity the keys to power even they don't fully understand. Vrelix considered this carefully. If we can't fight them, perhaps we can understand them. What do you need? A linguistics team, Reinar replied. The signal we intercepted from Earth wasn't just a warning. It was layered. There are fragments of messages embedded within it, as if Earth's defenses are communicating with us. You want to decode it? Exactly. If we can understand the message, we might find out what Earth truly is. The decoding process was slow, but progress came unexpectedly. One night, as Reinar sifted through fragments of the signal, a strange phrase emerged: "Unity is strength." It repeated in multiple languages, including some no longer spoken even on Earth. Unity, Reinar mused. What could it mean? As they continued to piece the message together, more fragments appeared. We endured the fire. Our strength is our will, and we are the unbroken. Reinar shared his findings with Vrelix. These aren't just messages, they're stories. Humanity's stories. Meanwhile, back on Earth, life continued as usual for its inhabitants. Humanity was blissfully unaware of the alien eyes watching them or the ancient network that protected them. Yet, small anomalies began to appear. Satellites repositioned themselves in odd ways, their signals briefly aligning before returning to normal. Scientists noticed fluctuations in the Earth's magnetic field, but dismissed them as natural phenomena. However, one night, a powerful aurora lit up the skies worldwide. It wasn't just a natural light show, it carried a message. But only the Zorath Empire's deep space scanners picked it up. It was a single sentence, written in 100 languages. We remember who we are. Vrelix stared at the message, a chill running down his spine. What does it mean? Reinar studied the data. It's a declaration, Commander. Humanity is more aware than we realized. This isn't just an ancient defense system. Earth itself is waking up. What are they preparing for? Vrelix asked. That's the question, isn't it? Reinar replied, his tone uneasy. And I don't think it's for us. Determined to learn more, Vrelix authorized a stealth mission. A small team of Zorath operatives was sent to Earth disguised as meteorites. Their task was to blend in, study the humans, and uncover the source of their power. The operatives reported back sporadically, sharing insights about humanity. They observed acts of kindness and cruelty, moments of brilliance and failure. But what struck them most was humanity's resilience. Despite their struggles, humans always found a way to rise again. They're strange, one operative reported. Fragile, yet unbreakable. They argue among themselves, yet they come together when it matters most. It's as if their weakness is their strength. The operatives also discovered traces of Warden technology buried deep within Earth's crust. These relics pulsed with dormant energy connected to the planet's defense network. But the humans seemed unaware of their existence. It was as if the Wardens had hidden their gifts, waiting for humanity to earn the right to use them. Back on the Zorath mothership, Vrelix listened to the reports with growing unease. They don't know what they're sitting on, he muttered. Or maybe they do, and they're waiting for the right moment. As the Zorath Empire pieced together the puzzle, Earth sent another cryptic signal. This time, it was not a warning but an invitation. If you seek answers, come as friends, not conquerors. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't defenseless, but they weren't hostile either. They were waiting, watching. And as Vrelix pondered his next move, he realized something chilling. The Wardens hadn't just chosen Earth for protection. They had chosen it for a purpose. Cliffhanger. As Vrelix prepares to respond to the invitation, a rival empire intercepts the signal and sets its sights on Earth. The Zoreth Empire must decide whether to protect humanity or let their rivals face Earth's mysterious defenses. The Forgotten Ally. The invitation from Earth was a declaration of both strength and intrigue. High Commander Frelix knew they couldn't ignore it. But before the Zoreth Empire could decide its next move, a transmission arrived from their scouts at the edge of their territory. The rival Dravok Empire, a brutal, conquest-driven species, had intercepted Earth's message. Their fleet, far less cautious and infinitely more aggressive, was heading directly for the Blue Planet. In the Zoreth War Chamber, Frelix met with his advisors. The Dravok will not approach Earth with restraint, Frelix said. They'll attack, and they'll fall. But if they uncover something we haven't, it could shift the balance of power. Let them burn, one advisor snarled. Their arrogance will destroy them. But Reiner shook his head. If they trigger something we don't understand, the consequences could ripple across the galaxy. Earth isn't just another planet. It's something else. Frelix weighed his options. Protecting Earth meant risking open conflict with the Dravok, a war neither empire could afford. But doing nothing could mean losing control over the mystery of Earth and its hidden power. Meanwhile, on Earth, humanity remained blissfully unaware of the brewing galactic confrontation. But strange occurrences began to increase. Across the globe, people reported vivid dreams of ancient civilizations, forgotten technologies, and a presence they couldn't explain. Archaeologists unearthed artifacts that emitted faint, untraceable energy. One scientist in a remote observatory noticed an anomaly on the moon, a shadow that didn't align with any known features. It was there for a moment, then gone. The events felt disconnected, but they were all part of the same awakening. The Dravok fleet arrived in Earth's orbit with characteristic brutality. Their massive warships dwarfed the Zoreth's fleet, bristling with weapons primed for planetary bombardment. Dravok Commander Krell sneered as he studied Earth. "Primitive," he muttered. "This will be a quick conquest." The Dravok began their assault, unleashing a barrage of energy blasts toward the planet. But as the first wave neared Earth's atmosphere, the unexpected happened. The blasts dissipated into harmless streams of light, absorbed by the invisible barrier that had frustrated the Zoreth fleet before. Commander Krell growled, "Cloaked defense platforms. Destroy them all." As the Dravok forces prepared a second assault, Earth responded. The satellites that had remained dormant now moved with precision, forming a defensive grid. Beams of concentrated energy shot out, disabling multiple Dravok ships without causing a single explosion. "This is no cloaking device," one Dravok officer reported. "It's something else." Then the Guardian ship appeared. Emerging from the moon's shadow, it dwarfed even the Dravok's largest warships. Its reflective hull shimmered, covered in glowing symbols that pulsed like a heartbeat. The Dravok fleet, unprepared for such a foe, hesitated. The Guardian ship didn't fire a single weapon. Instead, it released an energy wave that spread across space, disabling the Dravok fleet's engines and weapons. The wave also carried a message, not just for the Dravok, but for anyone listening. "Earth is under our protection. Turn back or be erased." On the Zoreth mothership, Frelix and his crew listened to the broadcast in stunned silence. "They're not bluffing," Reiner said. "If the Dravok push further, they'll be destroyed." But Krell was not one to retreat. Ignoring the warning, he ordered a full-scale attack. The Dravok fleet surged forward, every ship firing at the Guardian. The energy blasts hit their target and vanished. Then the Guardian retaliated. With a single pulse, the Guardian ship activated the relics buried on Earth. Across the planet, ancient technologies hidden for millennia awoke. Pyramids, stone circles, and forgotten ruins glowed with an otherworldly light. Energy fields shot into the sky, connecting with Earth's satellites and amplifying their power. The Guardians' response wasn't violent, it was surgical. One by one, the Dravok ships were deconstructed, their metal hulls breaking apart and dissolving into harmless particles. The fleet was dismantled without a single death, leaving the Dravok humiliated and powerless. In the aftermath, a second Guardian ship appeared, smaller but equally formidable. It approached the Zorth fleet, sending a direct transmission to Frelix. You watched and did not interfere. For that, you may stay. But know this, Earth is not a prize to be claimed. It is a promise to be kept. The words carried weight, not as a threat, but as a statement of purpose. The Guardians hadn't just protected Earth, they had chosen it. Reinar studied the transmission carefully. Commander, the Guardians aren't just protecting Earth from us. They're protecting us from Earth. What do you mean? Frelix asked. If humanity ever unlocks the full potential of what the Wardens left behind, they won't need Guardians. They'll become the protectors, or the destroyers. As the Zorth fleet departed, leaving Earth and the crippled Dravok behind, Frelix felt a strange mix of relief and dread. Earth was no ordinary world. It was a sleeping giant, waiting for its moment. And the galaxy might not be ready for what happens when it wakes. Cliffhanger. As Frelix reflects on Earth's power, his ship intercepts a final transmission, not from Earth or the Guardians, but from deep space. It's a distress signal, ancient and faint, warning of a far greater threat that once tried, and failed, to conquer Earth. The last warning. The Zorth Empire's fleet sailed back toward its homeworld, but the unease surrounding Earth lingered. High Commander Frelix, a man of action and strategy, found himself haunted by the Guardian's message. Earth is not a prize to be claimed. It is a promise to be kept. In the quiet of his quarters, another transmission arrived. This time, it wasn't a message from Earth or the Guardians. It was the ancient distress signal intercepted at the edge of their retreat. The signal was garbled and faint, but unmistakably urgent. It bore the same energy signatures as the Guardian ships. In the research wing, Chief Scientist Reinar analyzed the signal. It carried an ominous warning in fragments. Beware the Devourers. Earth holds the key. Unity is survival. Devourers? Frelix asked, standing over Reinar's shoulder. Reinar's voice was grave. They're a legend, Commander. A species, or force, that consumes entire civilizations. According to our oldest records, the Wardens were created to stop them. Are you saying Earth's defenses aren't just for us? Frelix asked. Yes, Reinar said. Earth isn't a fortress, it's a beacon. It was designed to protect the galaxy. As Frelix contemplated this revelation, another event unfolded. Earth's Guardian ships, previously silent and observant, began to move. Their movements were deliberate and synchronized, forming a protective grid around the planet. At the same time, strange energy pulses emanated from Earth, spreading across the solar system. The Zorth fleet's sensors picked up the disturbance, and Frelix ordered the fleet to hold its position. What's happening now? He demanded. Reinar scanned the data, his face pale. Earth isn't just defending itself, it's activating something. Back on Earth, humanity was once again unaware of the unfolding galactic drama. But strange phenomena began to accelerate. People across the globe reported hearing a low, resonant hum in their minds, as if the planet itself was trying to speak. Ancient sites, from the Great Pyramids to Stonehenge, emitted visible beams of light that reached into the sky, forming a global network. In a remote desert, archaeologists uncovered a buried structure unlike anything seen before. Inside, they found an inscription glowing faintly. When the stars fall, rise together. The Guardians' movements didn't go unnoticed by other galactic powers. News of the Dravok fleet's destruction had spread, and now smaller empires and rogue factions were scrambling to claim Earth for themselves. But as they approached, the Guardians didn't wait to defend. Instead, they sent a message that echoed across the galaxy. Do not test the strength of the Chosen. This is your final warning. The message was universally understood, despite its alien origin. It carried a sense of finality, a warning backed by the power to erase entire fleets. One faction, the rogue Axion Collective, ignored the warning. Believing the Guardians were bluffing, they launched a small but heavily armed fleet toward Earth. Their leader, a warlord named Zareth, was arrogant and ambitious. As the Axian fleet approached Earth, the Guardian ships didn't fire. Instead, they activated Earth's dormant relics. Across the planet, ancient structures came alive, forming an energy field that extended far beyond Earth's atmosphere. The Axian fleet's ships were caught in the field, their systems shutting down one by one. Zareth's flagship was immobilized, its crew helpless as a final warning flashed across their monitors. Your time is over. In an instant, the entire fleet vanished, absorbed into the energy field, leaving no trace. Back on the Zoreth mothership, Vrelix and his crew watched in stunned silence. They didn't destroy them, Reiner said, his voice shaking. They absorbed them. Why? Vrelix asked. What are they building? I don't know, Reiner admitted. But Earth's power isn't just defensive. It's preparing for something. As tensions across the galaxy rose, Vrelix made a bold decision. He would return to Earth, not as a conqueror, but as an emissary. If the Zoreth Empire couldn't control Earth, they needed to understand it, and perhaps ally with it. When Vrelix's ship approached Earth's orbit, the Guardians allowed them to pass. A single Guardian ship detached from the grid, escorting the Zoreth ship to a stable position near the moon. From there, a message was transmitted directly to Vrelix's ship. You seek answers, you may ask. Vrelix hesitated but stepped forward. Who are the Wardens? Why did they choose Earth? The response came not as a voice, but as a vision. Vrelix saw the galaxy as it had been millennia ago, teeming with life, but also under siege. The Devourers, a force of unimaginable destruction, swept across worlds, consuming everything in their path. The Wardens, created by an ancient coalition of civilizations, fought back, establishing bastions like Earth to resist the tide. The vision shifted to Earth's role. Unlike other Warden-protected worlds, Earth's strength lay in its inhabitants. Humanity's resilience, ingenuity, and unity under pressure made it the perfect candidate to inherit the Warden's legacy. When the vision ended, Vrelix stood silent, shaken. The Guardians delivered a final message. The Devourers will return. Earth is the first line of defense. You have a choice. Stand with the Chosen or fall alone. As Vrelix's ship left Earth, a single thought consumed him. The galaxy wasn't prepared for what was coming. The Zoreth Empire needed to choose its path carefully. But deep in the void, an ancient force stirred, drawn by Earth's awakening. The Devourers had noticed the light. Cliffhanger. As Vrelix prepares to warn the galaxy, a massive rift opens near Earth's solar system. From its depths, dark, serpentine ships emerge, silent and menacing. The Devourers have arrived. Earth's secret revealed. The rift near Earth's solar system pulsated with dark energy, growing larger with each passing moment. From its depths emerged the Devourers, a fleet of alien ships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Their design was grotesque and organic, resembling living creatures fused with jagged machinery. They radiated a hunger so vast it seemed to drain the light from the stars around them. On the Zoreth flagship, Vrelix stood frozen as he watched the monstrosities approach. The Guardians had warned them, but now, the truth was undeniable. The galaxy's greatest nightmare had arrived. Earth reacts. Back on Earth, humanity's awakening accelerated. Across the globe, ancient relics activated in unison. The beams of light from sacred sites converged into a massive energy grid, linking Earth's satellites with the dormant Guardian technology buried beneath the planet's surface. Humanity was no longer unaware. Dreams of ancient battles and alien forces began to make sense to scientists and leaders alike. World governments received cryptic messages directly into their networks. Prepare yourselves. You are the first line. For the first time, humans glimpsed their true purpose. They weren't just inhabitants of Earth. They were its protectors, chosen to inherit the Warden's legacy. The relics empowered humanity's technology, transforming their primitive satellites and defenses into advanced, seamless extensions of the Guardian network. The Guardians assemble. The Guardian fleet, once silent and distant, mobilized. Ships emerged from behind the moon, from asteroids, and even from deep within Earth's oceans. They formed a wall of shimmering silver around the planet, their reflective hulls glowing with ancient symbols. But the Devourers were relentless. Their fleet numbered in the thousands, each ship bristling with organic weapons. They moved as one, like a swarm of predators, closing in on Earth's defenses. One Guardian ship broke formation and transmitted a message to both Earth and the Zorath fleet. They will not stop. Earth must rise. The Zorath dilemma. Vrelix's crew looked to him for guidance. Commander, Reinar said, we must decide now. Do we fight or do we run? Vrelix's pride urged him to leave. The Zorath Empire had no obligation to protect Earth, but deep down, he knew this was bigger than one planet. If Earth fell, the galaxy would follow. Ready the fleet, Vrelix ordered. We stand with Earth. The first wave. The battle began with a deafening silence. The Devourers launched their first wave, organic missiles, and tendrils of dark energy streaking toward Earth. The Guardians responded with precision, their energy weapons cutting through the enemy swarm. Earth's newly activated defense grid added to the onslaught, beams of pure light striking the Devourer ships with pinpoint accuracy. Despite the combined might of Earth and the Guardians, the Devourers kept coming. For every ship destroyed, 2 more emerged from the rift. The sheer scale of the enemy force was overwhelming. Humanity's leap. On Earth, scientists and engineers worked feverishly, guided by the relic's cryptic instructions. Humanity's first true warships, built in mere hours from Guardian-enhanced technology, launched into space. These ships were smaller and fewer than the Devourers' vessels, but they carried humanity's indomitable spirit. One of the first ships, named Unity, led the charge. Its captain, a former commercial pilot, transmitted a message to the fleet. We are Earth. We are unbroken. Let them try. Humanity's ships joined the fray, their unconventional tactics catching the Devourers off guard. They dodged and weaved, using their small size and agility to strike where it hurt most. The final gambit. Despite their courage, the defenders were losing ground. The Devourers began targeting Earth's surface, their energy tendrils pushing through the Guardian shield. Cities braced for impact, but before the tendrils could strike, the Guardians acted. A massive energy pulse erupted from the Guardian fleet, temporarily halting the Devourers' advance. But it came at a cost. The Guardians' energy reserves were nearly depleted. Vrelix turned to Reinar. We need a miracle. Does Earth have one left? Reinar's face lit up with realization. Commander, the relics. They're not just defenses, they're keys. If we activate all of them, it might awaken something bigger. The awakening. On Earth, a global effort began. Relics buried in deserts, mountains, and even under the ocean were activated. Each one added to the growing energy grid, which began to take on a life of its own. The relic's energy surged toward a single point in space, the heart of the Guardian fleet. As the last relic was activated, a massive ship emerged from Earth's atmosphere. It was the size of a small moon, its surface covered in glowing symbols. This was the Warden Prime, the ultimate creation of the ancient Wardens, dormant for millennia beneath Earth's surface. The Warden Prime broadcast a message across the galaxy. The chosen rise. The Devourers shall fall. The final battle. The Warden Prime led the charge, its weapons unlike anything ever seen. It fired beams of light that disintegrated the Devourers' ships instantly. The Guardian fleet, reinvigorated by the Warden Prime's power, pushed forward. Humanity's ships fought alongside them, their courage and ingenuity proving critical. The Devourers, once an unstoppable force, began to falter. The rift that had brought them to the solar system started to collapse, pulling their remaining ships into the void. Victory and revelation. As the last Devourer ship was destroyed, the Warden Prime emitted a final energy pulse, sealing the rift. The battle was over. Earth, humanity, and their allies had won. But the victory came with a revelation. The Warden Prime transmitted one final message to humanity. You are no longer the chosen. You are the guardians now. Epilogue. The Zorath Empire and other galactic powers now viewed Earth with awe and respect. Humanity had risen to fulfill its destiny, standing not just as a protected species, but as a protector of the galaxy. As the Warden Prime returned to its resting place beneath Earth, Vrelix watched from orbit, a mixture of pride and trepidation in his heart. The galaxy was safe for now, but the Devourers were only a part of a greater mystery. Earth had become the beacon of hope and the first line of defense.